It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. Today, we welcome another legend from the basketball hardwood. In an NBA career that spans 19 seasons, he won the league's Sixth Man of the Year award in 2009 and a championship with the Dallas Mavericks in 2011. He currently serves as an assistant coach at the University of Arizona, where he won an NCAA title with the Wildcats in 1997. He's Jason Terry, and he joins this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN right now with your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. It's Listen In with KNN, the sports sound of the district. We bring you the biggest guests, great analysis, and the hottest sports stories in the nation's capital and beyond. And we bring it to you live. Welcome to this live stream broadcast of Listen In with KNN. Here's your host, Kelsey Nicole Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to another live stream edition of Listen In with KNN, presented by Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM and 96.9 FM. I am glad you all are back joining me. I hope everyone is safe and well. I am so excited for today's show. We've had so many great basketball games, football games, so I decided to bring in a big gun to come help me break everything down. He is none other than my special guest, Jason the Jet Terry. Many of you guys know him. Of course, he's a former Arizona Wildcats All-American, an NBA Sixth Man of the Year, 19-year NBA career, NCAA Champion, Pac-12 Player of the Year, NBA Champion, and of course, he is currently the Arizona Wildcats assistant coach, doing some great things out there. So without further ado, please help me welcome none other than Jason the Jet Terry to the show. Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. I always like to do a wellness check first with my guest, Jason, because there's a lot going on, right, with COVID-19 and all of just everything going on in the world. So are you doing okay? Is your family okay?
Yes, we are. I had a slight bout with COVID, as did two of my daughters and my little niece. But that was earlier in the summer.
Okay.
We've all recovered well and, just trying to stay safe and stay healthy.
Okay, good. Well, look, we're glad you've all recovered and healthy and safe, and this is why you're on the show. And I also understand, Jason, that you just had a birthday. Happy belated birthday to you.
Yeah, we tried not to count at this age, but yeah, anytime you can enjoy your birthday, it's a special day.
I love that. Did you do anything fun? I know with this COVID thing, it's kind of hard to have like a big celebration, but how did you celebrate?
Well, I know you've seen the announcement of college basketball getting ready to start up officially.
Yes.
So, we've been in the gym, just training hard, getting our guys ready in off-season training and conditioning. And so really didn't get to enjoy it much, but hey, made it through another day.
And that's what's important, right? We live another day and you're working hard. That's what we love to hear. And let's get into it. You talked about being in the gym. Or also, before we get into it, I also know you were rooting for the Seattle Seahawks win, right? I saw the family there.
Yeah, no doubt. Die-hard Seahawk fan. Pete Carroll usually has me as a guest at training camp before the season. And, I'm just a huge fan. I mean, Russell Wilson, what he's done for the city of Seattle, and, just huge for us. And, hopefully we can bring another Super Bowl championship this year.
Yep, you guys heard it here first. Jason wants the championship. Do him some justice. And what a week one showing they had. I thought it was fabulous. And talking about Russell Wilson and Jason, it makes me think, like, what a year it's been. We had 10 Black starting quarterbacks in week one of the NFL. Crazy, right? Like,
No, crazy. Truly amazing, though. I mean, when you know the stigma that has been surrounded around Black quarterbacks,
right.
and just not having that opportunity.
Yeah.
This is a different era. It's a different generation, and hopefully, it's some optimism for a change. We're proving people wrong. The stereotypes that Black quarterbacks can't be successful in our league, but as you've seen with the MVP himself, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes is great. And then Russell Wilson has been phenomenal. So, I mean, there's a lot of good talent at quarterback, and they just so happen to be African-American.
It's huge. It's huge. What a year again. Just an exciting time. I think we needed some of that in 2020 because, again, I know this year has been crazy, so much going on. But when you see stuff like that, it makes you smile and know change is coming. And yeah, Lamar, in his Lamar-esque fashion, killed the Cleveland Browns with that 38 win for the Baltimore Ravens. And getting to you, I love what you've been talking about, but I know you've also had to catch the NBA playoffs, Jason, right?
Oh, no doubt.
So far?
Yeah, it's been exciting, and I'm a diehard fan, and I empathize with the guys because being in a bubble is hard to do mentally. You're not with your family, you're out of your normal routine, so you have to commend these young men for going out and sacrificing and giving us some hope and some entertainment in these trying times. And they've done an outstanding job. Some had championship aspirations like the Clippers, but got upset by a great Denver Nuggets team. I mean, those guys are playing well, and so you take your hats off to them. Also, I look at my Dallas Mavericks, who were kind of rebuilding but have a young star in Luka Doncic, and they almost had a first-round upset by knocking off the Clippers, but they fell a little short, but there's optimism for the future there. So it's been some great playoffs. You look at the Eastern Conference, and the Milwaukee Bucks came up short, but their future's bright. Giannis, Defensive Player of the Year this year. But my guy is Jason Tatum, a good friend of mine, and I do some mentoring of him. But they're up against the wall now, down 0-1, but they can bounce back tonight, and hopefully they can make it to the finals. And we'll have an old school rivalry, Lakers Celtics finals.
You guys heard it from the Jets.
There you go.
Look, we would love that old school rivalry. Jason Tatum has been balling out, but wow, that Miami Heat team is hot.
Yeah, they're tough.
Watch. It's so exciting. I know you're also an advocate for women's basketball as the co-president of Lady Drive Nation. So have you also enjoyed the Wubble basketball that we've been having with the WNBA?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I have a good friend. I also have mentored her, watching her career grow up in Dallas, Kennedy Carter, who to me should be the rookie of the year this year with the Atlanta Dream. She had a good run. And then you look at the Sparks are playing well. Derek Fisher's a good friend of mine. Candace Parker, they're balling. But I'm a homer. And I got the Seattle Storm bringing it home this year. I sure hope they continue to play well. They're having a phenomenal season.
I love that. Like, you want Seattle to win it all. You're not trying to share it, Jason. Some of us too, right?
Right, for sure.
It's great to see, which is great basketball. Like you said, bringing entertainment back, and we appreciate the sacrifice that they've made, because I can't imagine, how long they've been with their families. But I am glad, at least, it was so great to see the NBA players and WNBA players hugging their families. When you see your kids or your wife, your spouse for the first time in a while, it's just those special moments. So I'm excited to see what's yet to come. And you touched on it earlier. You're doing a lot with basketball now, Jason. I would love if you could talk about your just current duties as the Arizona Wildcats assistant coach, and of course, just the smooth transition you've made into coaching.
Well, I've been blessed and fortunate to, play the game a long time at a high level in the NBA for 19 years. But, my heart and passion has been coaching. It's been about mentoring the next generation and teaching the game that I love and that I've grown accustomed to. And I've just been blessed to have an opportunity presented to me by Sean Miller and the coaching staff at the University of Arizona, my alma mater, being able to come back here and hopefully bring a national championship home. And, for me, it's about learning. I've been on campus now for about a month and a half, and just watching Sean Miller. He's coached this game for about 25 years, 12 years at the University of Arizona, been in 2 Elite Eights, and then he's won multiple Pac-12 championships. The biggest accomplishment that I've seen from him is the amount of young men that he's put into the NBA, the development. and then watching him teach on a day-to-day basis. I'm just excited. I mean, because learning from a guy that's been there, that has done that, is truly a blessing.
I love that. And you can just hear it. And like you said, I'm excited, Jason. I see championship somewhere in that future for you for that Arizona.
Oh, no doubt.
And of course, we all can't wait for college basketball. COVID, please don't take it from us.
Oh, man.
Here. Of course, March Madness last year, we were deprived, but we would love to see some great college basketball. And going off of that, you talked about it being your alma mater. I would love if you could talk about having won the 1997 NCAA Division I men's championship with the Arizona Wildcats. Can you explain more about your affinity with the University of Arizona and just how their basketball program basically shaped your future, both mentally and helped you approach life as an athlete and a human being prior to you being drafted in the NBA in 1999?
Well, unfortunately, we've lost a great man and mentor and coach in Lute Olson just about a week ago. And he was a father figure to me here when I was at the University of Arizona. He gave me the opportunity to lead a team, win a national championship, and then go on to be drafted. And if it had not been for him, I don't know where I would be today. So I definitely have to give him a lot of credit. I'll never forget my years here. I wasn't a one and done. I didn't stay 2 years. I stayed all 4 years. I enjoyed my college experience. Took me 15 years to get the degree, but I finally got it.
You got
it. It don't matter when. It's just about how you get it, and I got it. So that was a tremendous accomplishment for me. But, you know, going back to the 1997 championship, I mean, we knocked off 3 number 1 seeds. And the guys on my team, Mike Bibby, Miles Simon, Michael Dickerson, A.J. Brown, you know, all those guys are still today a tight-knit group. It's a brotherhood, and it's something that you'll never forget about. But not only those guys, but it was about the guys that came before us. And our mantra now, our motto is A Players Program, something that Sean Miller created. It was something that was kind of formed back in the day by guys like Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr, Damon Stoudemire, you know, Khalil Reeves, all those guys that came before us is really what Wildcat basketball is all about.
I love that, what Wildcat basketball is all about. I know that you pay tribute, of course, to the late, great Lute Olson and what he did for that tremendous program. So I appreciate you touching on that. And then, of course, staying with basketball, I do want to go back to the Dallas Mavericks, who you talked about, who triumphantly made history defeating LeBron James and Dwayne Wade's Miami Heat to be crowned the NBA World Champion back in 2011. I'm taking you back to that time, Jason. I want to talk about the controversial officiating and heartbreaking circumstances that transpired in the 2006 NBA Finals, contested between the Nets and the Heat, right? Did that team, and especially Mark Cuban, would you say, feel a sense of vindication and pleasure to finally beat the Heat 5 years thereafter back in that 2011 NBA Finals?
Oh, no doubt about it. I call it sweet vindication. But, you know, for us, I was young. It was my first time being in the NBA Finals, and being up 2-0 in a series. You really don't understand what that means until you go through it and just realizing the utter defeat with them coming back, winning 4 straight games. I mean, Dwayne Wade had a phenomenal finals run. Like I haven't to this day seen a run like he had. But, you know, maybe questionable officiating, maybe. I don't know. People like to say that, but the game has to be replayed in between the lines, and we just didn't get it done. But being blessed and fortunate to, you know, have teammates like Sean Marion, Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki, Tyson Chandler, those type of guys, and come back 4 or 5 years later. Even though it wasn't the same Miami Heat team, Dwayne Wade was there, Pat Riley was still there, you know, playing against that franchise and that organization, man. We just knew in that moment we could not let the opportunity pass. We took full advantage of it. And just fortunately, LeBron didn't know yet how great he was. And so we were able to get out of there with a victory, man. So it was great. And you always think about the one that got away, but just fortunate and blessed that we had another opportunity.
And we love to see that. And what a special moment, you know, that was. And going off of that, just through your illustrious NBA career and championship winning career in which you played 19 seasons, can you select your personal, let's say your starting 5 dream team of players, which you had the great playing alongside? I know I might get you in trouble with this one, Jason.
No. I mean, it's easy for me because when you're talking about playing with a guy like Dirk Nowitzki for 8 seasons, and he really was the backbone of that franchise, and I probably wouldn't have the career that I had without him. You know, he's definitely right there, number one. And then Kevin Garnett, I played with him 2 seasons. I mean, there's no better competitor and just teammate than a guy like KG. Like, he really genuinely goes to bat for you. I still talk to him every week, and he has the same passion and fire, even though he's not still playing. Jason Kidd's another one. True general, true professional, a leader in every sense of the word. Not only did I play with him, but I played for him as a coach, and he really sparked my coaching interest. And that's why I'm embarking on that career now. My last 2 years in Milwaukee allowed me to be a part of the coaching process in Milwaukee. So I got to go with him. Another guy, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, I played with in Atlanta. Yeah. You've seen what he's done with the G League. He to me, should be, whenever the commissioner resigns, Adam Silver, I think Sharif Abdul-Rahim is next in line. He's a true leader of men. Yes, he's a mentor. He's just a great, great guy. So he'd be another one. Didn't play with them, but I got to say, Gary Payton has been a tremendous role model in my life. I call him Unc. He would also go on my starting five. So it's a good group. Yeah, strong. A lot of Hall of Famers in there, and just Hall of Fame people at the end of the day.
I love that. You want to add a sixth man since that list is so strong?
Oh, yeah, 100%. If I had to go sixth man, why not go James Harden? I played with James for 2 years, and we went to the Western Conference Finals when I was at the age probably 39 or something crazy. But we got knocked off by Golden State, who ended up winning their first title. But it was just so many conversations with James about his mentality and how he could approach the game and how eventually he would be MVP. He can share that with you whenever you get him on. But I just love what he's done in his career. And one day, eventually, he will be an NBA champion. He works that hard, and he's that good.
I love that. I love that. And James, I hope you heard it. You got to come on the show now and tell us the story. So we're going to have you on. And just you touching on that, in terms of just your forgettable NBA career plays from your rookie season, 99 to 2000, all the way up to your final year, right, in 27 to 18. Yep. Since we're doing this top 5 list, can you name your top 5 all-time plays which you made and why they're so significant to you?
Oh, okay, top 5 plays that I made. I have to go to Atlanta, where Terry Stotts, good friend of mine, he was assistant coach with the Mavericks, won the NBA championship. His first game with the Atlanta Hawks as a head coach in the NBA, I hit the game winner on the baseline over Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs. So that was a big moment for me. 2, I have to go to they call it the Mother's Day Massacre, the year we won the NBA Finals in the second round. We're playing the Lakers. Lakers going for a three-peat. We sweep them in Game 4 on Mother's Day. I hit 9 threes, which is an NBA playoff record. So that was a big one. 3 will have to be the shot over LeBron in Game 5. It wasn't the game winner, but it definitely sealed our victory in Game 5. I got a big picture and poster of that. Yep. 4 will probably be the shining moment right there at the end. When me and Dirk kind of embraced with about 30, 40 seconds left and we finally realized, like, we were the NBA champions. We have finally realized our dream. And then 5, I'm going to give the fans one. LeBron dunked on me when I was in Boston.
No, don't do that one.
I got to do that one because every camp I go to, every time I'm in the gym, kids always come up to me. It's not about, the championship or the threes I've hit over my career. It's about, why did you let LeBron dunk on you like that? I'm like,
why were you on the wrong side of the poster?
Right. Like, you think I really let him do that? No. But I think that is I'm always remember that, and I'll always be connected with him in history. So it's all good.
I love that. And I love that you can look back and laugh at yourself, because I don't know if everyone can do that. I don't think many people would have picked that. But again, it's about that growth and learning process. And kids, look, no, if you go to an NBA champion, you talk about that first. You heard it here on this show. Ask them about that stuff. And you talked about it earlier, but just overall, I want to go back to Luka because I think he's such a special player. And so with regards to the Dallas Mavericks currently, can you just share your thoughts on Luka and your overall impressions of him, particularly when we look at him, let's say, in terms of his long-term success and being a cornerstone of that Mavericks franchise for many years to come?
Well, obviously with Dirk retiring 2 years ago now, or a year ago now, they had to turn the franchise over to someone, but nobody knew it was going to be Luka. He kind of just snatched it. And when you watch him play, it's his demeanor, it's the way he handles himself, is his ability to make his teammates better and impact the game in a variety of ways. I mean, he does it. He's an all-around player. He could be the next guy to average, like Westbrook, a triple-double, because he does it. He assists, he scores, he rebounds, and he just does it with such a swagger that we have not seen from a player from overseas before. And he's young. He's just turned 21, so it's like maybe it's got so many more years of him. And I'm just excited for the future of the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to continue to grow. We got great management. Michael Finley, who I worked alongside this year, even though I was with the Legends as the assistant general manager, I got to be in some of those scouting meetings and just see how their team is putting together a personnel around Luka. So these guys will be back in the NBA Finals real soon.
Ooh, that's what's so exciting. Luka's so young, and it's just great basketball. Overall, the basketball talent that we've seen with the young NBA stars, Jason, I've just been so impressed by. While we're talking about it, any other young NBA talent that you've just been like in awe of, Jason?
Man, I tell you what, my guy right now is Damian Lillard, and he's kind of teetering on that middle line of being young, but on his way to that because he's been through. But he doesn't get nearly as much respect as he deserves. But if you've seen the season that he had this year, I mean, multiple 50-point games, literally single-handedly carrying that team to the playoffs when they were literally out of it. But him, Ja Morant. But then you got, for me, if you look at Jamal Murray and what he's doing, Nikola Jokic, like those guys are tough and they're young. Always Giannis. I mean, Giannis is also in the Damian Lillard reign where he's about to be a vet, but not young enough.
Right.
Those are some young stars, but then also right now with Jason Tatum, I mean, you can only imagine, his workouts with Kobe Bryant, that relationship, rest in peace, Mamba, but he has just infused the Mamba mentality into this kid, and you can see it every time he steps on the floor. Like, he's doing things out there that he's going to be one of the greatest players to ever play our game.
I love that. Like you said, just so much young talent. Jason Tatum, we're fans. We've essentially become fans watching him play, watching him grow. And I love that you touched on that young talent. But since the show is based in D.C., I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you. We've been talking a lot about Bradley Beal here in D.C. He got left off the All-NBA list. And many here in D.C. just feel like he constantly gets disrespected. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, Jason, on why you think Bradley might not be getting the recognition of some of the other stars in the NBA.
Well, as you know, in the NBA, we put a lot of onus. I mean, a lot of value on winning.
Right.
And he hasn't done that to this point in his career, and it's really not his fault because he's performed. I mean, if he had a healthy John Wall, these guys are making a deep playoff run this year, and you can almost say, they are the top 2, top 3 backcourt in the league if you have a healthy Wall. So I just think he needs his sidekick there with him. It's a lot of load to carry by himself. But he showed you he's capable. It just hasn't translated into wins. But 30 points a game, 6 assists. He's playing out of position. Like, you put him on any other team that's a championship contender, and you're talking championship. Bradley Beal has that type of intangibles with him, and killer, man. I love his game.
I love that. I love that you touched on it again. Just a true all-around guy. But like you said, we got to get some wins here in Washington, right? So we can get some more respect on his name. And talking about just great NBA players, I'd be remiss, Jason, if I didn't ask you about Vince Carter, who, of course, most recently retired at the end of the 2019-2020 NBA regular season. 22 seasons in the league. We're talking about you doing 19, an all-time NBA record. Just on a personal level, I'd love if you could touch on just the class and professionalism of Vince during the time which you were teammates for one season in Dallas.
Oh, man, just a tremendous professional. At that point of his career, he really was like the third or fourth option on our team, but he sacrificed. And if you watched his career and what he's meant to our game, he's a transcendent figure. Like, the human highlight film that he was. Now, he hasn't won a championship, but to me, when you contribute to the game of basketball as long as he did, in the manner that he did as being a professional in the locker room, giving back to the guys, doing it by example. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, he's first ballot Hall of Famer. And when I played with him as a teammate, he was always selfless and he was willing to sacrifice. And so, he'll be a part of this game forever. He's doing a phenomenal job broadcasting right now.
He's got a new contract with ESPN.
Yeah, even though he's a Tar Heel, I still got love.
Still have love for you. Still have love. We don't hold that against them. I love that you touched on that. And just going back to the NBA, just culturally speaking, of course, the NBA has just evolved in all type of ways during your 19 seasons in the league, from officiating to the apparel, the jersey styles, right, the fashion, the gameplay, coaching, social media, political statements, pop culture, and society's attitudes. So I'd ask you, what do you personally believe were the biggest changes for the NBA from the time you entered the league in 1999 to your final season during that 2017-2018 season?
Well, I think coming into the league, there was a time period where it was such a business, right? Where guys couldn't have their own personality. You know, you had your stars and they kind of had their images, but
Right.
now, like, you know, empowerment, be yourself, speak out, the platforms that we have. You know, I
Right.
think LeBron James has been a big leader of that, a big contributor in that regard. I go back to guys like Allen Iverson, who's my "I'm gonna be me" type model. You know, guys followed that for a long time, and it's not shunned and it's not frowned upon. You know, now it's accepted. And so I think we still got a ways to go, but I think the platform that we have now, the guys having a voice, being able to speak out. Chris Paul is another one that has been a huge advocate for the players, you know, president of the Players Association. You know, the empowerment of our guys and giving them a voice has been tremendous. And you've seen the impact that it's had around the nation, younger generation. So, I mean, we just got to continue to use our voice, keep being leaders, keep being role models, and keep being positive and doing the right things.
I love that. Keeping positive and doing the right things. Because I think it speaks to the culture movement that we see now and the powerful Black Lives Matter movement, right, that we're seeing across the country, and the importance of making our voices heard, especially as Black Americans, African Americans in this country, especially as we head into the 2020 presidential election. So I'd just love if you could touch on, did you like what the NBA did? Of course, what we see in the bubble with the players, you know, getting to wear Black Lives Matter t-shirts. We saw what was painted on the courts. We saw them get to select sayings to put on the back of their jerseys. Did you think that was the right move as we think about the league evolving and players having more of a voice and being able to speak out, you know, in terms of their thoughts and beliefs?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you have to allow, you know, especially us young Black men, the vehicle, the platform to be able to speak out and have a voice. And I think the NBA has done a phenomenal job with that. Again, you got to look at the leaders. I mean, LeBron James, Chris Paul kind of spearheaded that movement. And then the guys collectively as a group, you know, have done volumes. Now, we're still working on change. I also believe in the power of prayer. I mean, we got to pray more. You know, you got to pray more and understand that God is at work right now. And you know, one day we'll come through this and we'll look back at a time in the history books and say, man, you know, how tight together we were as a family, as a unit, is what helped us come through as a nation.
I love that. And that's what we're trying to do, get tighter as a nation. I think you're right. The power of prayer, you can't put any limit on that. I think we will be stronger because of it. But I am so happy to see sports intersected into what's happening into society. It's not a separate thing. These are everyday people that just happen to be a lot better at basketball than the rest of us. But, you know, they're everyday people and they experience a lot of things. And I don't think you can silence them. And I'm so happy they're using their platform and their voice, even though I know, Jason, that there are some naysayers, you know, who are like, keep sports and politics out of it. But you can't. You simply can't. And I've always believed they've been intersected. So I appreciate it.
No doubt. It's a way of life. And when you look at a lot of us, we grew up in the inner city. And so we've seen a lot. We've experienced a lot. Some of us just were blessed with the God-given ability to shoot a basketball.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we're still people. We're still human. And, you know, we bleed like everyone else.
I love that. Right. We all bleed the same color red blood. We're all human people, but we all have different experiences. And I don't think anyone has the right to try to take away from anybody else's and what they feel in this country. And on this matter, I think a big subject matter that came up, and you actually talked about him earlier, you know, Steve Nash had came out and spoke basically, I'd say very candidly, and admitted to being part of the, let's say, existing problem when we discuss white privilege in America when taking opportunities. And so with that being said, I would just love your thoughts on Nash's statement about white privilege, and of course, just the current lack of Black coaches and owners in professional sports, not even just basketball, but professional sports in this country.
Well, if you think about what Nash said, it told you that he was fully and well aware of him and his skin color and how he is privileged. But at the same time, you know, he created his privilege, because had Nash not been a two-time MVP, had he not, you know, had the career that he's had he not been a model citizen, a leader of every team that he was a part of, that privilege probably would not have come to fruition. So, it's a give and take, but the fact that he admitted it, it means a lot. And it's going to speak volumes when he goes in front of those young men of color that play for the Brooklyn Nets, right? He's going to have clout, so to speak, and they're going to respect him. So I'm happy for him, no doubt about it, because I aspire to one day be a head coach in college or the NBA. I definitely understand his route, and everybody's route is different. I think that's the thing that we have to look at a lot of times. Whatever your skin color is, your route may not be the other person's, and so you guys have to accept it, embrace it, and go at it full-heartedly.
I love that. Accept it, embrace it, and go at it full-heartedly. I think everyone can take a nugget from that in whatever you're doing. And you touching on that just makes me think, elsewhere, just with regards to coaches, which you played under throughout your NBA career, who, let's say in particular, provided you with the greatest education in terms of just what you learned from them and what you take those tidbits and force into coaching today?
That's easy. I took bits and pieces from everyone, but the one that had the lasting impact on my life overall, from being a father, a husband, a son, a teacher, a mentor, is Avery Johnson. When Avery Johnson took over in Dallas, I was in my first year at Dallas with the Mavericks, just got traded from Atlanta. He took over midway, and he really embraced me and took me under his wing. Like, it was daily film sessions, daily Bible sessions, daily breakfasts, where we didn't talk basketball. We talked about life, right? And I was 25 years old at that age. I needed someone that looked like me, that spoke my language, that understand what I was going through, and where I was going, and to be headed in the future, to give me that type of perspective, and to just align myself spiritually, physically, and mentally. That particular time in my life, it was valuable, and it's made me the man who I am today. And so I have to give Avery Johnson full credit for that.
I love that tribute, and what a great coach, to select. And as we continue on coaching, I think I want to go back to just the conversation of what's happening now, as it relates to just the COVID-19 pandemic, the political differences that we see as we head to November election, and the social injustices deeply rooted within our country. I know mental health awareness has been something that's come up big, especially in the Black community, and just the importance of taking care of one's mental health during these unprecedented times. So, of course, we see mental health, Jason, being more a conversation that people are having now. Do you think that's also moved in the right way in terms of moving the needle in the way that we talk about mental health, especially when it comes to professional sports, and I'd say specifically with Black athletes? Because, of course, I know Skip Bayless got a lot of flack for his comment that he said about Dak Prescott, dealing with depression, after his brother died. But in the NBA, Kevin Love has come out, and we've had some other players. But do you think the needle's moved enough when we talk about mental health?
To me, if you are a human and you have breath in your body, you have some form of mental health dealings at some period of point in your lifetime. That's just what it is. You're human. And I think we all deal with it one way or another. But I think now that it's being more publicized and people are starting to speak out a little bit more about it, it's a little easier to deal with, right? But we all go through it. I mean, I went through it as a young Black male coming out the inner city of Seattle, 10 brothers. There's just a lot of things that you deal with that mentally, if you compartmentalize it and keep it in, and you don't speak about it, or you don't have someone to go to talk about, then it'll bring you down. And so I think just mental health for all is something that we all got to work on. And it's something that you just got to be aware of and understand, like, there's people you can talk to, but you got to confide in somebody, whether it's your faith or your family, but you can trust that you got to get your feelings and emotions out some way or another.
It's true. I mean, you need somebody, because if you bottle everything in, I think that's how you kind of explode one day, right? Because you need to have that outlet. I think mental health, it needs to be healthy. It's okay. It's very healthy to go to a therapist or have somebody that you can speak to that, can just give you feedback. And we all deal with things. I love that you touched on growing up, in the inner city and how that's affected your mental health, right? And things that And it makes me curious, Jason, how are you explaining to your child? How do you explain like today's events in society? How are you explaining that and sharing your own personal experiences, as we talk about interactions with police in the community, and as we talk about the protests that have been going on? I mean, what's your message been?
Well, my message is you got to understand every situation that you go into, you just have to be mindful. Like, if you're dealing with law enforcement, there's really only one way for me to really kind of combat that is, treat it as if you're already guilty and give them the proper credentials they're asking for, and don't be combative,
Right.
because know what that officer is going through on the other side of the shield. And for me, I just try to lean on the side of caution. I try to tell my daughters the same thing, because one thing that's not going to change is the color of your skin and the time that we live in, the time that we come from. It's just been a battle between the two, and it's one that you can't fight. You got to just, like you said, err on the side of caution and realize, like, look, hey, whatever it is, if I'm wrong, here you go. Here's my paperwork. Here's my license, my credentials. I have a good day and make it to the next.
That
I do. 100%. So, be aware of your surroundings, surround yourself with good people. And at the end of the day, hopefully we all make it through.
And I love that, Jason, because it sounds like what you're saying is a message too that can be shared with your basketball team, right? And because I think, we see what's happening in professional sports. I'm sure we're going to see some type of, college athletes wanting to do the same thing, right? Trying to basically show that, they have a voice in this matter. And I'm sure you have a lot of men of color on your basketball team. So I'm sure these are lessons that can also be shared with them. This is why I'm so excited to see what you're going to do this year. We're rooting for that championship, Jason. We want that championship for you. I mean, you've had a lot already, but why not add another one, right? And I appreciate your time just so much coming on the show. And just before I let you go, also, great Kobe Bryant, just anything you'd like to say. I know this year has kind of went sideways since that happened. And so I wanted to give you time to just pay tribute if you'd like on the show.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I had a special relationship with Kobe, though it wasn't a very close, intimate one. But, with him being a girl dad, him trying to inspire the next generation of women hoopers and his daughter as well. We embarked on a journey with myself, my daughters, my entire family, and 10 other young women out of the city of Dallas, 14 years old. And we went to the Mamba Cup. The day Kobe passed away, we were supposed to play Kobe's team. 30 minutes before the game, we got the notice that, he had passed away in a helicopter accident. And it was one of the eeriest days of my life to this point, kind of having to explain to 14-year-old girls that, Kobe passed. You didn't know how much of an impact Kobe Bryant had on the rest of the world until he was no longer with us. And that's kind of the sad thing for me. But the positive thing is that he did have that impact. Like, the ones that competed against him or competed with him understand what the Mamba mentality was. Like, he was the fiercest competitor I've ever played against. But at the end of the day, he was real, he was human, and he had just as much love for the game as he did for people. And I think to be his lasting legacy for me. I'll never forget just shaking his hand the last time. Thought I was going to see him the next day. Never did. But I always remember that hug and how he embraced me and how the respect was mutual.
I love that. That mutual respect is so powerful and so huge. I have one more question for you. Then pick one from the fans, because this is a live show, Jason. If you could pick any one NBA player who best emulates your game in today's game, who would you pick and why?
Oh, that's tough. Super tough to do. But if I had to go with one, I would say, only because he's killing right now in the playoffs, he's having a great series, is Jamal. Like, I just like his mentality, the way he approaches the game, his ability to make threes like I did at a high rate, and then his ability to shoot the mid-range pull-up shot, the lost art. That's who I would have to pick.
I love that. That's a good pick. And he's doing pretty well. So you were smart with your pick. I like that. And we have a quick one from a fan, Jamel Cutler. He wants to ask you if you remember Cut Dog, which is himself, from NBA Twitter Live.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What up, Cut Dog? Hope all's well, man. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Absolutely love that. And Jason, I appreciate your time. The lunchtime show. Hopefully everyone's eating good watching this interview. But before I let you go, just any last words you'd like to leave the listening audience? No,
everyone just stay safe, stay healthy, keep enjoying your family, and stay prayed up.
I love that. Stay prayed up. Enjoy your family. If you guys want to learn more about Jason, visit his website, jasonterry31.com. He's also on IG. So you're not that old. You're on Instagram. That means you're young still, Jason.
Barely on Instagram. Don't even know how to work the functionality.
Well, whoever Instagram does a very great job. He's at jasonterry31. Make sure you follow him. Appreciate your time so much. Hopefully you're not a stranger to the show. Seattle, get him a championship. We want the Seahawks to win. We want everybody to win in Seattle. We want you winning. We want Arizona to win. So I wish you the ultimate best. And I would love to see that coaching thing transpire, Jason. I'm speaking it into existence. So I can't wait to see what happens with it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great one.
You as well.
Bye. All right, you guys just heard from Jason Terry, a.k.a. The Jet. Appreciate him so much for joining the show. And thank you all. I know we usually do 6 p.m. I had to bring it up for lunchtime, but what a great show. What a phenomenal guest he was. And thank you for everyone, too, that joined me on Saturday for Daniel Nelson and Doug Williams. We'll be back this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. as we welcome 2020 NBA draft prospect RJ Hampton to the show. So much to talk about as we get nearer and dearer to the NBA draft. Super excited about that one. Thank you as always so much for everyone for joining me. I also have a brand new podcast version of the show dropping today with Canadian Football League player for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Simone Lawrence, dropping. So you guys should also check that out. And also next week, I'll be dropping a special audio show with Maureen McCormick, who played Marsha Brady on the Brady Bunch. So lots of great things coming from Listen In With KNN. And as always, thanks for joining me. Check out me on KelseyNicoleNelson.com and on social media at @TheRealKNelson. Thanks for joining, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Follow Kelsey on social media at The Real K Nelson. Catch episodes of Listen In With KNN on YouTube, on air at AM 1340 and 96.9 FM Fox Sports Radio, on Facebook and Twitter, and online at KelseyNicoleNelson.com. Thank you for watching this live stream broadcast of Listen In With KNN.
You used to hear me on your airwaves or hear me on my hit podcast, but now I'm taking you to the screen. You'll love Elevator Thoughts. We will talk the latest trending in sports. It's game time. What better way to get to know those that visit the show than over some good food and drink? It's time for confessions.